Welcome back to another edition of Research Fantasy presents our CFL DFS picks for week 5 of the CFL season. Hard to believe that we've already got a month worth of action under our belt, and it has been a fun one. Week 4 was unquestionably the most erratic of all weeks, really until that Saturday night game. Quarterbacks were just not getting it done. Was very odd to see how things panned out. We do have some teams that definitely have some struggles, and it'll be interesting to see how things carry over to this week. I, of course, am super salty as I had a 30th place finish in Draftkings $8 tournament with Jonathan Jennings as my quarterback. Now, the one thing that was exciting to see is that at least there was one person ahead of me. I believe this person finished 6th place with Jonathan Jennings in their lineups. So I know that I wouldn't have won first, but it would have been pretty easy for me to have finished second. With that said, that makes 4 straight weeks with top 30 placings in DraftKings' biggest CFL tournaments. We've been offering a premium package now. This will be the 2nd week. Last week, we had some pretty solid plays identified. William Powell, our top tournament running back. Nick Moore, our 5th-ranked tournament wide receiver. The package is only going to get better and better, but folks, it's going to stay at $5, so make sure to hop in on that this week. I do believe that it will be worth your while. It is definitely better suited for people who want to run more than one lineup, though you can still get enough insight on how things can play out. What I want to do this week is I want to look at one quarterback, one running back, and 2 wide receivers that we can play in our fantasy lineups this week. As far as quarterback goes, there's a lot of options. DraftKings has really priced players up, making it much more difficult to just drop whoever you want into your lineup, which is another reason you should sign up for our premium package, because we've got an advanced breakdown that you're not really going to find too many other places. With that said, I'm actually going to drop pretty low at quarterback down to Kevin Glenn at 9,100. Now, Mike Riley is in the best position on this slate, taking on a Hamilton team that's allowing an astonishing... It's over 400 yards, but they've given up at least 380 passing yards each game thus far. The problem with this is Edmonton looks like it is making a commitment to the run. We haven't seen Riley put up those big outings, and with his price where it's at, it's really difficult to want to commit to buying in at 11K. So Glenn, another solid option here, taking on a Calgary team that isn't getting off to a great start thus far against the passing game. Believe they took on Montreal last week, still didn't look great against them, and that's really the only game that Montreal has looked decent in all year. We know that this Saskatchewan team wants to pass the ball. They've got no shortage of potentially viable receivers, including Naaman Roosevelt, who's a pretty solid lock to get 8 receptions a game. Kevin Glenn should be able to get over that 300 yards passing mark yet again, and it wouldn't shock me to see him hit the end zone a couple of times. Another upside for Glenn is the fact that he will use his legs, and this game should stay competitive enough that I think he'll be firing well into the 4th quarter. Moving on to the running back position, it isn't often that you're going to hear us suggest a running back for a team that is almost sure to be trailing, but gotta love Ross Scheuerman this week at 5,800. The Tiger Cats finally looking like there's some life to them outside of Travis Lulay. I believe Zach Collaros was the 2nd highest scoring quarterback last week, and if he wasn't, it was very, very close. This week, they'll be taking on an Edmonton Eskimos team who has actually been fairly solid defensively in terms of big plays, but they're really not that great against the run, averaging almost 100 yards allowed per game. Scheuerman has fought off C.J. Gable to be the top back here, maybe he doesn't see a ton of handoffs, but he's going to be there for dump-offs, and he's got the potential to score. And for 5,800 on a week where we're definitely seeing, like I said, some of these other players priced up, he makes a nice value option to get your lineups to the fullest potential this week. I love 2 receivers this week, and I've got to be honest, I'm pretty sure they're going to be very chalky, so you're going to have to find some other options to use to differentiate your lineups. I have an idea of where you could find that. It only costs $5. This is the last time I'll mention it, but let's start with S.J. Green. He's 8,700 on DraftKings. Really thought that Ricky Ray was going to try to spread the ball out, and he kind of did. Armani Edwards wasn't really part of the equation for whatever silly reason, although he did drop a touchdown pass in the end zone. S.J. Green still the apple of Ricky Ray and his eye. I think that this is a situation where he should see double-digit targets again, and to boot, Ottawa has been giving up this particular slot back to the tune of 94 receiving yards and 1.25 touchdowns per game. That's not good. That's definitely something that will come back to bite them, and that really bodes well for the potential of S.J. Green this week. Moving on from there, let's check out Kamar Jorden at his price, 7,700. He's been the lead dog for this Calgary Stampeders team. Very, very unexpected with both Marquay McDaniel and Davaris Daniels on this team. But that's what it is. He's seeing a lot of targets, making the catches when it counts, and he's getting a defense that's allowing 80 yards a game and 1.25 touchdowns to his specific slot back position each week. I expect this to be another full stat line for him in a close game this week. Those are 2 guys I'm definitely building my cash games around. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check us out at researchfantasy.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel below. Give it a like, too, if this helped you out. Make sure to find us on Facebook at Research Fantasy. Like us there. Hit us up on Twitter at Research and Win, and join us again next week.